All right, so today we're going to be looking at multiplying polynomials. Okay, so we're just going to look at a few other problems that we could be seeing when we're multiplying those. But first, let's look at our vocabulary. We're going to be classifying these by degree and by the number of terms. So if I look at number one, or the very first one, I've got negative 11x minus 4. If I'm classifying by degree, I'm looking at the largest exponent. If I look at this, I've got an exponent over 1 here, so that means it's linear. If I count the number of terms, I have 1, 2 terms. So that makes it a binomial. Remember, bicycles have 2 tires, binomials have 2 terms. Looking at the next one, my largest exponent is a 4. Okay, so think of 4 quarters in a dollar, so this is going to be quartic. And if I count the terms, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, so this is a polynomial. The next one, the largest exponent is a 2, and that's going to be quadratic. If I count the terms, I have 1, 2, 3 terms. Tricycles have 3 tires. Trinomials have 3 terms. The fourth one I've got is just the number 4. Okay, so anytime it's just a number, that's always going to be a constant. Okay, and since there's only one term, it's a monomial. And the last one, the largest exponent is a 3, so that's going to be cubic. And if I count my terms, I have 1, 2, 3 terms, so that's going to be a trinomial. All right. So at this point, we should be getting pretty good at that vocabulary. Make sure you're looking at your notes for those words if you can't remember what each of the words means. So looking at this, we're going to review a little bit some of our basic polynomial or multiplying polynomials that we did in our last set of notes. So if I look at this first one, I have 3x minus 4 times x plus 2. Both of these are binomials, so I'm going to set up our box. And then I'm just going to fill in all the pieces. So I have 3x minus 4, and then x plus 2. Okay, so 3x times x gives me 3x squared. X times negative 4 gives me negative 4x. 3x times 2 gives me 6x. And 2 times negative 4 gives me negative 8. We have to combine like terms on the diagonal. So that 3x squared just hangs out up front. Negative 4 plus 6 gives me plus 2x minus 8. So that's my final answer for that one. The next one, we've got x plus 7 squared. Okay, for this one, we have to expand first. Anytime we see that exponent right there, that means we have to expand our problem first. So I'll have x plus 7 times x plus 7. Now it's set up like this one was, and we can just set up our box. So I'm going to have my nice box. I'll have x and 7, x and 7. So x times x gives me x squared. X times 7 gives me 7x. X times 7 gives me 7x. 7 times 7 gives me 49. We have to combine like terms, and those are always on our diagonal. So I'll have x squared plus 14x plus 49. Okay, so just a quick reminder, what are we actually doing to the coefficients when we multiply polynomials? We multiply our coefficients, and we add the exponents. Okay. All right, so we're going to be using some of these skills when we look at our next problems. So looking at number 1, I have x plus 5 squared plus 2. So the difference with this one is we've got the plus 2. So the first thing we're still going to do is expand our problem. So I'm going to rewrite this as x plus 5 times x plus 5. And then I'm just going to bring down the plus 2. Once I have this expanded, I'm going to set up my box. So it's really going to be just like what we did up in this one. Okay, so I'm setting up my box. And I'm going to have x and 5, x and 5, And then I'm just going to bring down my plus 2 at the end. Okay, so I just brought that down because it's going to be included in my like terms. So I'm going to fill in all my boxes. X times x gives me x squared. X times 5 gives me 5x. X times 5 gives me 5x. 5 times 5 gives me 25. Now, once I've gotten here, my next step is to combine my like terms. Remember, they're still always on the diagonal, so I've got like terms here, but now I have like terms here too. So now we just have two sets of like terms. Okay, so that x squared just hangs out front. 5x times or plus 5x gives me plus 10x. And then 25 plus 2 gives me plus 27. And there you go. So now we need to classify this by degree. My largest exponent is a 2, so that's quadratic. If I count this, I have 1, 2, 3 terms, so it's going to be a trinomial. All right, get that down and then flipping over to the back. Remember, if you think I'm going too fast, just hit pause, ask me a question, get help, okay? But remember, you can always pause the video. All right, looking at the next page. Now I have 3 times 2x minus 1 squared. So this one is very similar to the one we just did, only now I have this coefficient up front. So remember your order of operations. You have to do your exponents first. So the very first thing we're always going to do is expand. So I'm going to rewrite this as the 3 up front. Then I'll have 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 1. That should always be the very first thing you do, no matter what. If you can expand, just go ahead and do that first. Now looking at this, I have too many pieces to do my box. Okay, I have too much going on to do my box. Okay, so we have to distribute this 3 first. When I do that, 3 times 2 will give me 6x, and 3 times negative 1 gives me negative 3, times 2x minus 1. Now that I have this set up, I can actually use my box now. So when I had 3 pieces, I couldn't. But now that I only have 2, I can use my box, and we're good to go. So I'm going to set up my box. I have 6x minus 3, and then 2x minus 1. And I'm just going to fill in all my pieces. So 6x times 2x gives me 12x squared. 2x times negative 3 gives me negative 6x. 6x times negative 1 gives me negative 6x again. And then negative 1 times negative 3 gives me positive 3. Now we just need to combine like terms, which they're still on the diagonal. That 12x squared just goes out front. Negative 6 minus 6 gives me negative 12x. And then I just bring over my plus 3. And there we go. So now we still have to classify this. My largest exponent was a 2, so that means quadratic. I have 1, 2, 3 terms, so it's a trinomial. All right. Looking at number 3, this number 3 takes the first and second problem that we did and combines them into one problem. Okay, so number 3, instead of having like one extra step, there's like 2 little steps that we have to do first. Okay, so like always, the very first thing I have to do is expand. So I'm going to rewrite my problem as a negative 2 x plus 2 squared, or x plus 2 times x plus 2 plus 4. That's always the very first thing you have to do, okay? No matter what, first thing you have to do if you can is expand it. Now we're going to do just like we did in this problem up here, okay? We have a negative 2 out front, so we're going to distribute that negative 2 to my first set of parentheses. So negative 2 times x gives me negative 2x. Negative 2 times 2 gives me minus 4. And then I'll still have x plus 2 plus 4. Okay, so at this point, okay, now I can set up my box. I've got 2 binomials, so I can set up my box. Okay, and I can fill in all my pieces. So I'm going to have negative 2x minus 4, and then x plus 2. And then I just bring down my plus 4 like I did in my other problem. Okay, so that plus 4, just bring it down here. And now I can fill in all my pieces. So negative 2x times x gives me negative 2x squared. X times negative 4 gives me negative 4x. Negative 2x times 2 gives me negative 4x again. And then 2 times negative 4 gives me negative 8. So at this point, I can just combine my like terms. They're still on the diagonal, so I've got like terms here, and I have my like terms right here. That's why we brought down that plus 4, so we remembered we had that like term. So that negative 2x squared just hangs that out front. Negative 4 minus 4 gives me negative 8x. Negative 8 plus 4 gives me minus 4. So that's going to be my final answer for that one. We still are classifying these. So my largest exponent is a 2, so that's quadratic. I have 1, 2, 3 terms, so it's a trinomial. Maybe if I can write. Trinomial. All right. Looking at number 4. This is going to be the last one we're going to do right this second. Okay, so looking at number 4. This one, just like with our last one, has 1, 2, 3 pieces, and that's too many to use our box. So that means I need to distribute this first piece first. So when I do that, 3x squared times x gives me 3x cubed. 3x squared times 2 gives me plus 6x squared. And I just bring down the x plus 3. Now from here, I have 2 pieces, so now I can set up my binomial or my box. So this first side, I'll have 3x cubed, 6x squared, and then I'll have x plus 3. So now I can go through and fill in all my pieces. So 3x cubed times x will give me 3x to the 4th. X times 6x squared gives me 6x cubed. 3x cubed times 3 gives me 9x cubed. And 3 times 6x squared gives me 18x squared. Now I just need to combine my like terms on the diagonal. So I'll have 3x to the 4th. 9x cubed plus 6x cubed gives me plus 15x cubed plus 18x squared. And that's going to be my final answer. Alrighty, so we still need to classify this. So classifying it by degree, my largest exponent is a 4. So it's going to be quartic. I have 1, 2, 3 terms. So it's going to be a trinomial. All right, we're going to go ahead and stop there for right now. If you have any questions about those, please let me know. If not, you can move on to your homework for the day.